Hi guys, it's SimLicy here, so welcome to another speed build. So today I am building a mid-century style house for the roommates household that live in Oasis Springs. They came with the base game and they consist of 4 roommates, and they are Zoe Patel, Mitchell Kalani, I'm not exactly sure how to say his last name correctly, Jay Huntington III, and then Gavin Richards. So I think this is such a fun household. This is one of my favorite base game households to come with The Sims. I think they're all really just kind of interesting characters, and I like the idea of this many roommates living in one house. So I knew I wanted them to have a pretty large mid-century modern style house, and I looked at so many different pictures on Pinterest, and the one that I ended up going off of was more for the floor plan, and I did change up the exterior quite a bit, mostly the roofing, because the roofing was quite flat and not as mid-century looking in my opinion. I kind of wanted this house to have more of that butterfly look to it. If you guys know what I mean, it's where the roofs of the house kind of go in opposite directions. Maybe it'll make more sense when we get onto the roofing, but I think it looks really cool. I love the color scheme that I went for. It's very earthy, very brown, and I just overall really like this house. So I hope you guys will like it too, but of course let me know what you guys think. So as you guys can see, the front facade is starting to come together. I started off with the carport area because that was something I really liked from my reference picture. I thought it was kind of a nice addition, and then I thought we could just walk into the kitchen and dining area from the door leading out to the carport. I thought that made sense, and then yeah, so for this house it does have 4 bedrooms, so enough for each of the roommates to have their own room. There's also 3 bathrooms. One of the bathrooms is also a laundry room, and so that's really close to the front door, so it's just kind of a quick bathroom. Or an easy access bathroom, whatever you want to call it. Just as you're running out the door, you can just go to the bathroom really quick and guests can use it and all those kinds of things. There's also a shared bathroom in the hallway that I imagine all of the guys use, and then Zoe has her own bathroom that's an ensuite. So you'll notice as we go through this build, I kind of spoiled Zoe a little bit, and I did that because she's the only girl in the house, and so I kind of figured that maybe they'd be like, okay, you can have, you know, the master bedroom since it has its own private bathroom. That way she has a little bit more privacy, and then the guys can all share. So I didn't think that mattered too much. I don't know. I was probably overthinking it, but as I was thinking about that, I thought that maybe Zoe's parents own this house because these Sims, they're not very far in their careers. Actually, when you start out the game, Zoe is unemployed. I'm going to give her a career from my save file. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to have her do yet. Her skills, she's a little bit charismatic. She has 2 skill points in that, and then she has 1 skill point in mischief. So yeah, I'm not really sure exactly what to give her as far as her skills go. And then for her personality, she's a goofball, cheerful, and clumsy. So she's just kind of a fun girl. She has the front of the world aspiration, so she's gregarious. I don't know, do you guys have any ideas? But anyways, yeah, so I was thinking that maybe her parents own this house, and so she kind of has first dibs on which room she gets, and then they all rent the house from her parents maybe, or maybe it was left to her by an aunt or an uncle or a grandparent or something. That's a potential storyline. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe it's one of the guys' houses. I was kind of thinking that I don't think they all have like very strong relationships. Usually when you start out the game, they all don't really have like too strong of relationships with each other when they're roommates, and even like family members. I don't know, it's a bit weird. So I'm thinking that I'm going to have her be like lifelong, like childhood friends with one of the guys, and I'm kind of leaning towards Mitchell because he wants to be a comedian, and so she has some mischief, so maybe they just kind of grew up together, they pulled some pranks together. And maybe he's kind of always had a crush on her, and she's never seen him that way, and she's always like kind of had him in the friend zone is what I was thinking. You know, she's just like, oh, he's like a brother to me, and he's like, no, I love you, that kind of thing. Do you guys understand what I mean? I'm sure you guys do. And maybe she has her eyes more on Jay, because I kind of see Jay as more of the kind of ladies man, like all the girls kind of swoon over him, even though he's kind of a interesting looking guy. I think he's a really good looking Sim, but his eyes are a bit strange. So I did change those for my save because I knew it would make him a little bit better looking, and so I kind of wanted him to portray that kind of character a little bit more like the jockey guy who gets with all the ladies but doesn't really get tied down. He doesn't want to like claim any titles to relationships, like technically call anybody his like girlfriend or anything, because he is non-committal. He's also a bro and active. I felt like that suited him really well. I thought that made like so much sense. He's also a bodybuilder. But yeah, back to Mitchell. I was thinking that him and Zoe have just grown up together. Maybe the other two guys are friends of Mitchell's. Maybe he met them in some sort of club or school or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe they just put out an ad for roommates and they're two random guys that showed up and called to the ad. Maybe that's a possibility. But yeah, Mitchell, he is an assistant dishwasher, so he's in the culinary career, but he wants to be a joke star, so he wants to be a comedian. So maybe he just doesn't have the confidence to actually go for it and like get up on stage. So if you want to play with this household, I thought that would be a fun storyline to go with. Maybe that was their intentions when they created this household. So he has a little bit of a comedy skill. He has a little bit of a mixology skill. He's also a bro too, like Jay. He's outgoing, which I thought was kind of surprising since he isn't, going after his career, but maybe he would like to. And he's also lazy, so maybe he's just too lazy too. That's definitely a possibility. And then the last sim that lives in this house is Gavin Richards, and Gavin is a writer. He has a pretty high writing skill. He has level 3 in the writing skill. He's also a bro. I didn't realize this until now. So they're all bros, all of the guys anyways, so I imagine they just sit around the TV, watch the game, and kind of bro out together. Is that the proper way to say it? I'm not exactly sure. But he's creative, neat, and a muser. He wants to be a best-selling author. So when I went to go decorate his room, I tried to make it look a little bit more like tidy and clean, like everything has its place. And I kind of feel like him and Mitchell probably have a little bit of conflicting personalities, because I was thinking, since Mitchell is in the culinary career and he's also a bit lazy, I made the kitchen a little bit messy, and I was kind of thinking that he's always in there like cooking and messing around and he doesn't really clean up after himself, and maybe that bothers Gavin because he is so neat, and maybe he's always going through and cleaning up after him just because he can't stand the mess even a little bit. So I also added a soda can next to Mitchell's room. Now he's not a slob, so I didn't want to put like a bunch of like dirty stuff throughout his room. I didn't want the house to look like, a slob really lived here, just somebody who's a bit lazy and doesn't clean up after themselves. So I put some clothes on the floor in the bathroom that I thought he left behind, and his room's just a little bit messier than the other rooms. And I just had a lot of fun with it. Like I said, I really enjoy this household. If you guys have watched my Not So Berry challenge, Zoe is my Not So Berry, my Mint Sims best friend, and I think it's just such a fun household. I'm very excited to place this house in that game so I can see it across the street from my house. I just love this neighborhood. It's one of my favorites in game. And yeah, very excited to start up that series again. I do get questions all the time. What happened to that series? Am I not playing it anymore? Or what is going on with that? I just took a little bit of a break from it because I don't know. I just have some trouble recording gameplay, and I haven't had as much time at home alone the past few weeks or month or so, however long it's been. But my husband is starting a new job, and that starts in about a week. So I'll have more time at home by myself, and yeah. I will start up that series again. I'm also thinking about doing a mini series with the new game pack that's coming out called Strangerville. I think that might be a lot of fun. Maybe we can complete the task. I've heard from so many people that they don't want it spoiled. So if that's not really something you guys are interested in seeing, please let me know. I can, of course, and I will put a disclaimer at the beginning of the videos that says there will be some spoilers in the episode. That way you guys don't watch it if you don't want to be spoiled. But yeah, give me your guys' feedback. I did do a Create a Sim after I watched the trailer that I thought was a lot of fun. It was just inspired by the atmosphere that I saw in the trailer. Did you guys like it? Did you guys watch it? Are you guys excited for this pack? Was it something that you were expecting? Because I definitely was not expecting anything like this, but I think it's a lot of fun and brings something interesting to the game, and I am of course very excited to have a new world. And if you guys did see, there is 11 new lots that comes with the pack, and I wasn't expecting it to be that big. I'm pretty sure that's as big as the world that we got with Get Famous. I'm pretty sure it's as big as that world, which is really surprising because it's a game pack, and I'm just so excited about that. I did mention in my Create a Sim how I wasn't sure if I was going to include it as part of my save file, but I think I'm going to, because I don't imagine that we will get any more worlds by the time I am finished. I don't know, that's hard to say, but I just find so many things that I want to include from that pack in my save, and having the new world and being able to use the items. I haven't exactly made up my mind yet. Maybe I'll hold off and then just do an update of it. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it would be better to just include it as part of my save and just start going through and doing renovations, doing builds and all those kinds of things? Or do you guys think it would be a good idea just to hold off a little bit, finish what I'm already working on, and then just do an update later? Because I will, of course, do some builds on it, because yeah, it's a new pack and I can't help myself, so I'll do some builds anyways, but maybe I'll just do 1 or 2 and then hold off. I don't know if I really want to do that though. I kind of just want to just go all out and include it as part of my save. Let me know your guys' opinion, but anyways, I have rambled on long enough about the new pack and about the household. But yeah, like I mentioned, I really like this household. I wanted this house to be a lot of fun, have a lot of activities, so I included a couple of planter boxes back here so they can do a bit of gardening if they want to. I just really wasn't sure what else to add. You can, of course, get rid of those if you don't want them. This is a huge lot, so really on the other side of the house, there's this big open grass area, so you could even add like the slip and slide out there. If you wanted to have a family in this house, you could definitely put some like playground equipment over there, or if you need the house to be bigger, you could definitely expand it that direction too. So lots of possibilities. And then here I'm creating some pool toys, which I thought was such a fun idea. Now this isn't my idea or creation. I first saw this over on Tumblr on Pocketful of Simshine's page. Now they're one of my favorite Simblers to follow, so I will definitely link them in the description so you guys can check them out. They have some beautiful screenshots of their homes and their gameplay and all of those kinds of things. So yeah, I thought this was a great idea, and I thought it'd be a lot of fun to include in this house, because I could definitely see these Sims like out playing in the pool, tossing the ball around, or just kind of goofing off and playing. Now, of course, these aren't functional pool toys. Hopefully we will get something like that eventually. I think that would be really cool, especially to have like a little toddler with like the floaties and like the floaty arms. Oh, that would be so cute. Or like Sims sunbathing on a big floaty. That would be really cool. Or just pool games in general. But anyways, yeah, they're not functional. Your Sims might try to clean them up. Now, I didn't put a toy box for dog toys or cat toys on this lot, so they won't have anything to clean them up into. So they'll probably just leave them alone. If you do decide to get a pet, your Sims will probably try to clean them up, I assume. Maybe they can't even reach them because they're just kind of sitting there on the water. I'm not exactly sure at this point because I haven't play tested this house with a pet, so some things might happen, but I'm gonna leave it as it is because I think it's a really cool idea, and I really like adding that bit of decoration to the swimming pools. But yeah, the exterior has pretty much came together. I really like the landscaping on this build. I honestly wasn't really sure of it while I was doing it. I thought about redoing it, but I decided to leave it alone, and then I left the game, came back to it later, and I decided that I really liked it. And if you're wondering where those agave plants came from, they're in the debug menu. I've been getting a lot of questions lately asking about the debug menu and how you access it. So all you have to do is hit Control-Shift-C to open up the cheat bar, and then type in bb.showHiddenObjects, and so that will bring in more stuff to the regular build and buy catalog that you can just see there. Like there's some school decorations, you can find postcards and frogs and bugs and other random decorations. But then if you want to see even more things, you go into the search bar that's in the bottom left hand screen that you can see there above the building stuff, whatever you want to call that. If you type in debug into that menu, it'll open up all of the stuff that your Sims kind of use through like gameplay and different interactions. So some of the things you can't really place, they might delete, or you can't really place them or really do anything with them, or if they're food items, or unfortunately glasses and plates, because I would love to actually use those as like clutter decoration, but they do spoil, so they get stinky and your Sims will have to clean them up. But they're in there if you want to use them. A lot of the magazines and stuff that I use, you can find there in the debug catalog as well. So yeah, that's how you access that. But we are onto the interior now. The first thing I wanted to do is just pick out wallpapers and kind of get the color scheme kind of sorted out. I wanted to go pretty neutral for the majority of the house because I felt like that made the most sense. So I went for these kind of light grayish brown walls, brown floors, brown tile, and kind of a soft yellowy color for the walls in the bathrooms. And then for each of their bedrooms, I decided to go for a more bright color scheme, more of a themed color scheme for each of their rooms. So Gavin has the green room because I felt like the green kind of suited the writing career. I'm not really sure if that makes sense, but he was wearing a green jacket originally. I forget exactly what I changed his outfit to look like, but he did have that green jacket. Then Jay has the blue bedroom because I felt like that just suited him a little bit more. And then Mitchell has the red bedroom, and then this is Zoe's room, that pinkish purple bedroom in the back. I do actually change the color to a brighter pink later. It's actually more of like a dustier light rose pink. You'll see it later on, but I felt like her walls needed to be a bit brighter. But here I am starting off with the furnishing. I felt like starting with the living room because I really wanted to get this area sorted out first. And here I created some built-ins with some of the upper head base game cabinets. I felt like this looked so mid-century. Now with the decorating style for this house, I wanted it to go kind of mismatched. I mean, I wanted it to all look okay. Like, I didn't want it to be too hard on the eyes. I didn't want it to be too off-putting, but I definitely wanted it to look like random roommates lived here, so they brought in all of their random furniture. You know, they don't have a whole lot of money, so I used a lot of the cheaper items, like the cheaper cabinets. And I mean, it's probably not a cheap house though, because I went full on with the landscaping, and there's so much clutter, and clutter adds up. It's very expensive. But I just really wanted this house to look lived in. I mean, there's 4 people living in this house, but they're young adults, so it's not all very matchy or very well put together. Some of you guys actually mentioned when I did the BFF household how that house looked too put together, and that one was actually a little bit more intentional because I felt like they're a little bit further on in their career. I feel like they're more of a responsible, kind of more put together household. Does that make sense? I feel like this one's a little bit more chaotic, and they're kind of they're trying to figure out their lives a little bit more. I feel like the BFFs, they kind of have their lives a little bit more figured out. Like, one of them's an astronaut. I forget the other careers exactly at this moment, but I felt like that was a bit more appropriate for their house, and especially since there's 2 females living there, I felt like they would try to keep the house a little bit more decorated and organized. Because actually when I was 18, I moved out of my parents' house, and I lived with several guy roommates, and our house basically, I mean, it didn't even look this nice. It was a lot more mismatched and messy and not put together at all. But this is kind of the idea that I had in mind. They're just random roommates living together, and things aren't going to look that nice, whereas the other household, I thought it was more appropriate. So that's what I did. But here I am decorating the coffee table, and what I ended up doing was adding some regular clutter decorations that I normally add, like a plant and a magazine and the remote that I found in the debug menu. But I also decided to put a pizza box with a slice of partially eaten pizza next to it. I thought that was so fun. I mean, it'll of course spoil, so your Sims will have to clean it up. If you do move into this house and they eat it quick enough, it should be just fine. I think your Sims should be able to eat it. I'm not exactly sure, but I thought it made like fun decoration for the screenshots and for the atmosphere, so I decided to place that in there, and I really like the way it turned out. And then you probably noticed me use that red shelf that I have in my game to be able to lift the remote to place it up on top of that magazine to get it to the right level. I've been getting a lot more questions about that red shelf as well. I have it linked in the description. I have the link to the Tumblr page where you can download it. It's a very handy tool. It is custom content though, so you'll have to download it and place it into your mods folder like you would any other piece of custom content. And then just don't leave it in your build before you upload it to the gallery. That way your build isn't marked as having CC in it. That way it's easier for people to find your builds, because that's what I do. I just use it as a tool, and then I don't place it in my build. I just use it as a tool basically. I did do a move objects tutorial a few weeks ago, so you guys can watch that if you want me to go into a little bit more detail. I do cover that in that video, how I use that shelf and those kinds of things, because ever since I downloaded it, I have been using it nonstop, and I don't ever imagine not using it because it's really that handy. So you can check it out in that video. I also cover on how I freely move objects and rotate them and lift objects up and those kinds of things. So if you're curious about the building tips and tricks that I use, I will link it in the end card. I can also put it in the description if you guys haven't watched that tutorial yet, because I do get a lot of questions asking about those kinds of things, so I thought I would just talk about that a little bit in this video. But anyways, as you guys can see, I am decorating the entryway to the build. I really kind of struggled with this area, if I'm being honest. You'll notice I try several different things. I end up putting a corkboard here with that calendar merged into it, and then I also pulled out some of these postcards. I really like using this as a decoration in a lot of my builds. I've been doing it for a long time, and I probably do it a little bit too often, but I really like it. So yeah, I also have a lamp there with some mail and then some other clutter decorations, like that really nice basket that has like some blankets and towels in it. I really like that item. It came with seasons, but I put it there next to the mirror and then the coat rack. So yeah, some nice items there, but this is the bathroom that's closest to the front door, so this is the one that is also a laundry room. I thought it'd be kind of nice to have a bathroom that's close to the front door, and then I kind of struggled with this room as well. You'll see me try a few different things with the sinks, and I thought about placing a shower in here for a moment, so there's definitely room in here if you would like to, because at this point there's only 2 showers in the rest of the build, so that might be maybe not enough if you're having, you know, the 4 Sims, or if you decide to play with a whole entire family in this build, maybe it won't be enough, so you could definitely put another shower or bathtub in this bathroom. And I ended up going with this sink. I thought it looked kind of cool in here, and then I put these shelves above the toilet because I couldn't actually place the soap dispenser next to the sink without it looking like it was just gonna fall off the edge of it. And I always like to place that item because I feel like it's really realistic, and it's just something I like to place next to every single sink. So I was able to put it on the shelves, and then I was able to have it there, and yeah, I really like the way this bathroom turns out. I really liked the bright blue color of the washer and dryer. And then I hung up a robe in there because I really wasn't sure what to put on that wall, and I felt like there needed to be something. So just put that there. But this is going to be the kitchen. Now this kitchen is very mismatched, and I just had a lot of fun with it. It's probably not going to be to everybody's taste. I am totally aware of that. I mean, this whole house in general probably won't be, but I just had a lot of fun with it. I went with these bright blue colors for the stove and the refrigerator, and then this green color for the microwave. And yeah, then there's the orange trash can, and then I think I did maybe a brown color for the coffee pot, but I just tried to make it look like all of these things were maybe picked up from, I don't know, just like hand-me-downs basically, so they're not like purchased as an entire set, or they're all like really nice modern stainless steel appliances. I really wanted it to look pretty messy and pretty mismatched, and I love it. I think building like this is so refreshing and so much fun, because so many times I try to build things that look really just pleasing and decorated and kind of, I don't know, more put together. So I just had a lot of fun trying to make this look a little bit more messy and mismatched, and yeah, I don't know, I really like it, so I hope you guys will like it too. But there I just placed the coffee pot over here. And like I mentioned earlier, since Mitchell is in the culinary career, I tried to make this kitchen look a little bit cluttery. I didn't put any like dirty pots and pans around, anything from the debug menu anyways, but I did put some pots up on top of the stove. I do imagine that he leaves things around quite a bit, and then like I said, Gavin goes through and just like, cleans up after him because he gets so frustrated. I think that's kind of a fun idea. And then I use this mid-century modern dining set that we got with the bowling stuff pack over here by these open windows that look out into the pool. I love this so much. Those are some of my favorite windows, especially in this building style. I think they're so pretty and let in so much light, which I really like. So yeah, I just had a lot of fun with this area. But other than that, I just put some decorations around, like some paintings on the wall. I think I put a plant in the corner over by the sliding glass door leading out to the carport. I thought about putting a side table here where I'm putting up that poster, but I decided to move that poster over to the other wall, and then I hang up that what is it? It's kind of like this picture. I think we got it with Dine Out, but it has like the orange slices and the breakfast stuff on it. I thought it was just kind of fun and quirky. A lot of the artwork that I tried placing in this build, I wanted it to look like they were movie posters or things that kind of teenagers would probably have in their room, because I imagine that these Sims are very young adults, so maybe they still have a lot of stuff from their childhood, so they have some posters, but they have framed a lot of them so they look a little bit nicer throughout the house. And I also put some of those neon signs on the wall. I thought that was kind of a fun thing to include. Actually, when I lived with those roommates that I was talking about, we had a lot of like street signs and like random signs as decorations on our walls, and it looked a little bit silly, but I think it's so appropriate for young Sims living together, so I really liked it a lot. And then here I'm trying to find a painting to put there on that wall, but I went with that one with the like eggs and the orange slices. I think it's a pretty fun poster. So that's basically it for the main living area. And then over here I do decorate the bathrooms right away. I decorate both Zoe's bathroom and then the guy's bathroom. I do Zoe's first though, and I really like the way her bathroom turned out. I really wanted her bathroom to look really cluttered and decorated, so you'll see that when I go to decorate the counters. And I also really like how the toilet's in that separate area. It's only like separated by that archway. I thought that looked pretty cool anyways. But here in just a moment I pull out so many decorations for the bathroom counters. I figured since she's the only one that uses this bathroom, she doesn't really care who sees it. She doesn't care about leaving, you know, her makeup around, her hairbrush, her dryer, those kinds of things. So her bathroom is totally cluttered with so many decorations, and I just really had so much fun with it. I also end up giving her the vanity table in her bedroom that we'll see later on. Her bedroom's actually the last bedroom that I decorate, but I do give her the vanity table, and I go through the debug menu and pull out some of those makeup decorations like the eyeshadow and blush palette, and there's like a nail file and an eyeliner. There's a few random things, but we'll see that here in just a moment. But yeah, over here is going to be the guys' bathroom, like I said. Both of the bathrooms have the Parenthood showers. They just have different curtains. I felt like these ones looked pretty nice. And for their bathroom, I tried to not overly clutter it up because I imagine the guys keep most of their personal bathroom items in their own rooms. But there's like some toothbrushes and some towels and a few things. But the messy clothes on the floor, I thought that was left around by Mitchell. He just kind of like, he throws his clothes on the floor. He doesn't really care too much. I don't think lazy Sims actually leave their clothes on the ground, like when it comes to actual clothes for laundry. But I liked the idea of him just being a bit lazy, just not picking up after himself. So that's why I did that. And then here I'm decorating the hallway. The hallway's pretty simple. I just put a side table over there with a few decorations. There's a clock and a plant and some bookcases. Yeah, nothing too special. I just moved that foosball table out to the patio, by the way. I tried to make it work out there, but I decided it didn't look quite right. I really wanted to add that item somewhere in this build because I thought it'd be a lot of fun for them to play some foosball together, but I ended up not including it in the end. And then this is going to be Jay's bedroom. So for his room, I went for a very blue color scheme like I mentioned because I felt like that just suited him really nicely. There's also pops of orange. Each Sim also has their own computer and computer desk in their bedroom. And for him, he is in the tech guru career, and I'm not really sure if I think that fits him that well. I might give him a different career. I haven't exactly made up my mind. But he does have a little bit of programming skill. He has 2 points for that. He also has 2 skill points in fitness, but his aspiration is to be a bodybuilder. So I'm not sure if he really wants to be in the tech guru career. Maybe it just kind of like was handed to him or he fell into it a little bit easier. I'm not sure. Do you guys have any ideas on what his career should be? Have you guys played him with other careers? I don't know. I think I'm probably going to change it though for my save file because I think that'll make a little bit more sense. But I really like his room. I like that there's a punching bag in here. I will make sure that the Sims can use that before I upload this to the gallery. I haven't checked it yet. I have placed them in bedrooms before pretty close to other objects and they seem to work just fine, but I will make sure that it's placed in a good location before I upload it. He also has his own walk-in closet. I do end up getting a wardrobe in here and I end up going with this one that came with City Living. I felt like it suited him really nicely. I put a calendar over there by his door. He also has a couple of framed posters, and then I put a mirror above the bed. But yeah, that's basically it for his bedroom, but I really like it. And then this is going to be Gavin Richards' room, so the green bedroom. And for his room, I went for a pretty yellow and green color scheme. I felt like that suited him really nicely. I kind of had a lot of fun picking out the color schemes for their bedrooms, by the way. I really enjoyed it, and I felt like this mid-century modern bed that we got with Get Famous suited him really nicely. This isn't my favorite bed, in my opinion. It looks kind of like a hard bed, and I don't really like the headboard, so I haven't really used it that much since that pack came out. But for him, I felt like, I felt like it suited him pretty nicely. He also has a walk-in closet all of the Sims have their own walk-in closets. I felt like that was kind of a nice thing to include, and I feel like it suits the mid-century modern theme a little bit. I'm not exactly sure why, but that's what I decided to do. And then over here he has his computer desk. I decided to not add a bunch of clutter decorations on his computer desk, just a few things. And I also gave him a guitar because he is creative, and I know that probably pertains more to his writing skill, but I felt like maybe he dabbles a little bit in music, so that's why I put that guitar framed thing above his desk, and then I also gave him that guitar there next to his side table. But yeah, he has a neat sim, so I didn't want to like overly clutter it up with too many posters and decorations and things like that, because I feel like he really wouldn't hold on to those kind of things. But this is going to be Mitchell's room, so he has the red bedroom. His room also has a little bit of orange colors into it as well, because I felt like this bed just suited him really nicely, and it probably would have been way too much if I gave him a red bed on top of these like really red walls. But I felt like this bed is really nice. This is one of my favorites. It came with Seasons. The Seasons beds are so pretty. I know I probably mentioned this way too much, but they're really the best beds, in my opinion, in the entire game. I really like them. And then I gave him that single tile computer desk over here by his door, and then I thought that framed poster of the chef was kind of fun. And then here I gave him this microphone since he has the aspiration to be a joke star. He kind of wants to be a comedian. And so I thought that he probably practices his jokes a little bit, but he just doesn't really... I don't know, I feel like he might have the confidence because he is outgoing, but he's just too lazy to really act on his, I guess, yeah, he's just a little bit too lazy to act on his dreams maybe, but I'm not exactly sure. But I think he's a fun character. And then over here I put some decorations on his side table, just a few different little things. And then I also give him a wardrobe. Oh, and then there I placed the soda can from the debug menu, just because I felt like he was a little bit too lazy to pick it up. And then here I wasn't exactly sure what I should put above his bed. I was going to put like a couple of posters, but I decided not to. I decided to leave that chef one alone, and then I added that other one over there by his computer. But what I decided to do is use this framed thing. I'm not exactly sure why. Usually when I try to place these that look like they're framed like articles from a newspaper or magazine, I usually try to think of a reason why they would have it in their room. I didn't really come up with one, but I thought it looked nice, and I put some clutter decorations here up on the shelves, just a few random things that I thought he might want to keep around in his room. And then this is going to be Zoe's room. So she has like this full-on entryway. I felt like this looked pretty old school in my opinion, with the closets and then the full-length mirrors. It kind of reminded me of my parents' bedroom. My parents live in a house that I think was built sometime around 72, so it has a lot of those like older styles. It has like older carpet. It's very out of date, but in their master bedroom they actually have these closets that have mirrors for doors. Now I could have used move objects to do something like that in the game, but I wanted the closets to be usable, so I decided not to do that. But I thought having the mirrors on the other side kind of made it look like that older style anyways, so I don't know, I kind of like that idea. But for her room I went for a very kind of light color scheme, little bits of yellow and pink. Like I said, I do end up changing the wall color to a deeper pink color later on, because I felt like this gray pink was just a little bit too dull, and it kind of drowned everything out since I used so much like white furniture. At least in my opinion, that's what I was thinking. And then here I'm just picking out some decorations to put on her computer desk. And then over here I do have the vanity. And like I said, I go into the debug menu to pull out some like makeup clutter decorations. And then there I just placed that mid-century modern style plant in the living room. It went by kind of quickly, but that plant came with Get Famous, and it's in a very cool kind of mid-century style. I think it's supposed to be anyways. And I always kind of forget to use that plant. I'm not exactly sure why, because I really like it and I would like to use it more, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I just forget about it a little bit. Not exactly sure why, but I was happy to remember it. But here I'm just picking out some of those clutter decorations for the vanity table. I put that kind of fashion makeup magazine. There's the Eiffel Tower. Now that Eiffel Tower I think is made out of the children's clay, so the Sims will probably pick it up and play around with it, but it looked really nice. And then over here I wanted to add a seating area. It took me a little while to kind of figure out that area. I go back to it in a little while, but here I wanted the magazine to look like it was just resting on the bed, and this is something I have checked already. I wanted to make sure the Sim could use this side of the bed, and I had my Sim go take a nap, and she went right to that side of the bed and used it no problem, so it shouldn't cause any issues. It might look a little bit weird with clipping if the Sims are sleeping or woohooing or anything like that, but I thought it looked kind of nice. But here I am trying to pick out some chairs. I go with these ones, these mid-century modern ones that came with the bowling stuff pack in that soft yellow color. I thought that looked really nice, but yeah, this is basically it for the build. We are almost on to the screenshot, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this mid-century modern style house for the roommates household. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and please leave any comments or suggestions that you have, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!
Oh, there's a fire.